Hey friends, this is Nurse Meg from nursemegRN.com, and this is a video about new grad mistakes. Now, there is no shaming to any new grads. I'm not here to shame anyone. I really want to be a resource and a help. So hello, if you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome. I am Nurse Meg, and I'm here to help you in your entire nursing journey, whether it's getting into school, whether it is surviving nursing school, getting your license, passing the NCLEX, or just surviving in your first couple years. I'm here to help you. So this video is really specifically directed to new grads who are currently working in the field. I really want to help you sort of survive those first couple years. So these are going to be the top 3 new grad mistakes that I personally see in the nurses that I precept and what you can do about them. Before we go any further, if any of this sounds interesting or appealing or helpful to you, please like this video and then subscribe to my channel, because there's like a ton of things that I could tell you about. And then of course, hit the little notification bell, ding ding, so that you can be notified every time I come out with a new video, which is pretty much every Friday. So let's get started. Number 1, let's talk about report safety. I think one of the most common new grad mistakes is bad report. I'm sorry, and school doesn't teach you, and maybe your preceptor didn't teach you well enough, and you kind of just give too much information or maybe give too little information, and you just don't feel proficient. And bad report is unfortunately common with new grads. So I do have a free report sheet that I give out to all my preceptees and literally anyone who wants it. I'll put a link down below in the description for you. You need this report sheet. It's totally free. You just like put your email, I'll email it to you, and then you can print it 1 million times if you want to. But it is literally everything you need to say in report. So if you fill it out and read it top to bottom for each patient, the oncoming nurse will really not have a ton of questions, except they may ask for something specific, you know, is the doctor coming later? Did the doctor round yet? Maybe something a little extra like that, but you will give the most concise report. If you're interested, I do have a course on kind of how to find your voice as a new nurse. So this teaches you how to initiate report, which sometimes is a little bit difficult if you don't have a lot of confidence in approaching strangers and being like, hey, you have my patients, let's hand off. It also teaches you how to give that great concise report and use my report sheet. Also how to get report and things to be considerate about for the next shift that you may not realize until you're like a couple years in. I've been doing this for 12 years. Let me give you all of my secrets. It also teaches you how to give report to doctors who are rounding on your patient, how to give report to other facilities if you're transferring a patient, how to discharge a patient, how to talk to family members, just all of that sort of thing. So if you're interested, it is called How to Find Your Voice as a New Nurse, and you can find it on my website, nursemegRN.com, under courses. My website's super simple. It's like homepage, blog page, courses, super simple, okay? So number 2, the biggest mistake that I see is interacting with practitioners, specifically with doctors, because the majority of practitioners that I see or caregivers that I see in the hospital that we interact with are doctors. There are some nurse practitioners on the field, there are some PAs and things like that, but I'm going to be specifically talking about interacting with doctors. I actually just watched a TikTok of one of my favorite nurse accounts, and she was talking about it was her last day of her contract, and she's a travel nurse, and there was a surgeon who was yelling at her because the patient filled out the consent forms inappropriately. And I mean like yelling and like throwing a fit like a 2-year-old and really disrespecting her and essentially verbally assaulting her. I watched that in horror. Anytime that a practitioner or caregiver or doctor is disrespectful to you, number 1, you shut it down immediately. Now, if they are really angry, you may not be able to do my go-to, which is laugh in their face. So when someone is disrespectful to me, I literally laugh in their face as loudly as I can, getting lots of attention, and then I stop abruptly and I go, oh, are you serious? Were you really being that rude to me? But if they are really angry into a place where you feel like it's going to get confrontational or you really don't feel safe and comfortable, you are allowed to physically walk away, go to a manager, go to an older nurse, go to someone that you feel comfortable with, or literally pick up the phone and call HR. I highly suggest that you contact HR, whether in that moment or later. Number 2, fill out an incident report against them. Say exactly what they said to you in the manner that they said it to you, how you felt, if you felt unsafe, you felt verbally assaulted, disrespected, incident report. And then if they are speaking to you about a specific patient, chart in that patient's chart, whether it be in an anonymous place or chart something that happened at that time and chart that you had this interaction with this doctor. Always chart it so that there's evidence in lots of different places, you know? There's no way that we can keep them accountable if we don't report it and keep them accountable in this way. So I always suggest people to do those things. Now there are ways that we can really communicate better with doctors. In my course, The New Nurse Survival Guide, I teach you how to call a doctor and how to speak to a doctor. I give you a script. Let's do a little quick one right now. So let's say I'm calling the doctor. Hello, Dr. Leaf so-and-so. I'm calling about Mrs. Johnson in room 4404. She was the one admitted with a GI bleed. I'm calling about a lower hemoglobin, or I'm calling about a fever of 102. Well, what was her last hemoglobin? When was it drawn? Does she have a standing order for packed red blood cells? What was her white count yesterday? Was this the first time she spiked a fever? How many days post-op? They're gonna be asking questions, have everything ready to go so you can look it up, answer them. Then they will give you an order, and then you need to repeat that order a couple times and always let them know if you're putting it into the computer or not, or maybe they're in a different part of the hospital and they pull up the chart themselves and they put it in. Always confirm who's putting in the order. Always confirm the order. Repeat it back to them twice if you need to. If they can't understand you or you can't understand them, go real slow and repeat both of you until you both come to a place of like, I know what you ordered, let's move forward. All right, so I hope that helps. Number 2. Number 3 is the balance between rushing and caution. So as a new grad, you're overwhelmed, you're not 100% sure where everything is, you're not 100% sure on how to organize your shift. I totally get that. I actually have another free printable on my website called the Daily Flow Sheet, and it helps you organize each patient, your entire shift, 7 to 7. I highly suggest you use this. It's really gonna help you get a flow so that you don't fall behind and end up charting till 9 o'clock at night or 9 in the morning, whatever shift you work. There is a very delicate balance between rushing and being cautious. If you're too worried about, oh my gosh, I'm falling behind, and you start rushing, this is where mistakes can happen. Know when you can rush and know when you can delegate. So if you are giving medication, please don't rush giving medication. These are people's lives. You need to be very careful. Don't skip any of the processes of checking the right patient, the right band, the right room, the right medication, the right dose, all of the rights. Do it the right way, okay? There are other things that you can rush at. If somebody interrupts you and asks for a pillow, that's something that you can delegate. Delegate to your CNA, delegate to the secretary, delegate to maybe another nurse who is sitting at the nurse's station who just happens to have like a quick moment. Delegate when you can on those sorts of things. Never delegate assessment. So if somebody calls you and somebody is like, oh, this patient is acting weird or this patient doesn't seem right, don't send someone else to check on them. Stop what you're doing and go check on them. You need to really balance caution and rushing. So there's some things that you can rush through. For example, wound care. Sometimes you can be really clean and quick. The more that you practice wound care, the more that you're like, I know exactly the supplies I need. I know exactly how long this is gonna take. I don't have to, make this a beautiful sculpture and perfect. I just need to clean the wound really well, remove all the old dressings, wrap it up really good so that it doesn't get unraveled really easily, tape it up, cover it up, and let's go. So there's certain things that you can be a little bit quicker about, and there's some things that you should just be extra cautious about. So finding that balance sometimes does take years, but please use my resources, use my report sheet, use my flow sheet, use all the other tips in the new nurse survival guide to really help you to make quick assessments and to stay on task. So those were it. Those are my top 3 new grad mistakes. I really hope that this helps you focus and not make mistakes early on. We're all gonna make mistakes. We're not perfect, but hopefully with all of my resources and my advice and help, I can help you make less mistakes and you can just learn from mine. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you made it this far, like my video and let me know where you're watching from. I'm super curious. How do people find me? Like, did you search for me? Did you search for like tips? Did you search for like this specific video topic? Like, how did we meet? Let me know. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe to this channel. Go to my website for more free tips and tricks and things like that. And of course, explore my channel. Maybe I have a video for the exact question that you've been looking for. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.